Mic check, 1, 2. Mic check, 1, 2. Mic check. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the RanchCast. My name is Jason Van Brackle. I'm the Director of Community for Rancher Labs. And today we're going to talk RKE and Terraform. So if you want to join us today, let me find the actual right screen. If you'd like to join us today, or if you'd just like to join me in general, you can always join us on Twitter. I'm hanging out here. My name is Jason Van Brackle. I want the profile one. So when I go live, you'll see JVB is live. And I am live on Mixer, YouTube, and Twitch. And that's really just because your corporate firewall may block one or more of them. In addition, if you'd like to join our conversation, we're always out on Slack together. If you want to join the Rancher user Slack, we're all out here for live questions, and I try to keep up with that as well. If you'd like to join that, you may join at slack.rancher.io. Put in your email address, you'll get your invite, and within seconds, you'll be able to join us on the RanchCast. If you ever miss a RanchCast, you can get it on youtube.com/the RanchCast or /c/the RanchCast. And we broadcast live to YouTube as well. So if you'd like to follow along today, a few things have changed since our last meeting. So before this was called Automate All The Things. Oh, I have GitHub Actions now. I'm going to play that later, but we'll dismiss it for now. Another RanchCast for another day. So Automate All The Things is now Cattle Drive. So we're going to make this an actual project. This is a community reference architecture. So everything we talk about is going to be step by step. You're going to want to get the latest version of this. Now the Automating All The Things link, if you have it before, will still work. I just changed the name of the repository, so all the old repository links still work. I still use the old one myself. Now, let's talk about some code changes that happened since last time. So I'm going to open up VS Code. And hopefully I have the right area. So I've made a number of changes since the last time that we did this together. This is not the one I want. I want this one. So there have been fairly significant changes in here since we last met. We talked about Terraform modules last night. We made a network module. Well, since then, I've also made a node module, and let's walk through these together just for a few minutes to talk about where we are. So going back to our main module. So remember, so when you start Terraform in your main module, that's your root module. So here in the root module is where everything is defined. Let's close everything but this, just so we have some focus. I have my Azure Terraform Provider. I put my resource group outside of the network module. I want the resource group to be owned by my root modules. That's there now. And then each of my node groups. Now, our first setting up our networks, we have our network module here. We made that last time together. And I just did some cleanup here. I took out anywhere where I didn't need string interpolation, actually used the Terraform 12 object interpolation. And then I actually moved all the node stuff into a node module because the setup of a node is fairly uniform from node type to node type. Now, I did allow some things to be configured, so we have some variables here, prefix, so we can differentiate the nodes, etcd, control plane, worker nodes, which resource group is coming in, how many of these nodes we want, and then the subnet ID, because we create the network outside of this specific module. And then I put this node definition that is all the things that we're going to need for each node, including a username, size of the disk, what type of disk type we can use. Actually, Ultra Disk is not supported, I think, by most of these, but I think I overrode that. So Ultra Disk is the fastest of disks. So you want that for your etcd, for example, but not all of your node types support that. Most of them will support like Premium LRS. It'll actually tell you if you do it wrong. And then we'll need some output variables later. I just put that there as a placeholder because we're going to need for RKE, we're going to need IP addresses, host names, things of that nature. So going back to our main module now, we have, again, our provider, then our resource group, then our network module, and then all of our different boxes. So we're not taking advantage of the jump box yet. We're not taking, we have our etcd nodes, our master nodes, and our worker nodes, and they're all fairly uniform right now with not a whole lot. Now, my node definitions, I have some defaults in there, but I just wanted to spell them out explicitly, so we do it. I'm going to pour myself some coffee. I got my French press ready at the very last minute, and I've not had my coffee yet. It's not like you can tell. I'm hyper enough as it is. But I'm going to need at least 2 cups today. Stayed up way too late last night because head up to a wedding in upstate New York over the weekend. and just getting everything ready for my mother-in-law, who's coming to who's very graciously staying with my kids. But back to this. So like I said, each one of those will create a node group. This is actually could be instantiated by the Automate. So I've also cleaned up the Automate a little bit. You can go from now 0 to everything set up and running as in the current state that it's in. So we're actually going to do that as well today. I'll have to make sure everything I have that I want to clean up from last time is cleaned up. Other changes since we last were together. This now has a project. So we're just gonna. I've removed the to-do list, and we're gonna treat this as a proper project. So I've got my cattle drive, minimal viable, release project, and I haven't prioritized this backlog yet. It's just everything that was in the to-do list, and then the Terraform modules for each node type. And I didn't put a card in or an issue in for the network module that we did last week. That was on the fly. Maybe I'll put that in there just because I like to see things done. So if you have an idea for an enhancement or things we're working on, or you just want to work on this stuff, put an issue in, let me know. I'll give you access to this as a collaborator, and you'll be able to actually pull things out of here. But everything we talked about is now on this list, and we'll work these one by one. So today, we'll actually do this properly. Let's grab our provisioning rancher with RKE. Actually, I didn't want to provision rancher with RKE. We're going to provision our rancher cluster, provision rancher Kubernetes cluster. We'll do the actual rancher provisioning next time. Like I said, I'm trying to stay as close to like 30 to 45 minutes versus an hour as possible for these. So we're going to pull this over to in progress, and we're going to assign this to me. So I am now assigned to this, and we're working on this together. So let's go ahead and do that. So first things first, we are going to need the Terraform module. We're going to need the RKE Terraform module. So if you want to get that, and I'll make sure the links end up, write my links down. And we'll use their documentation to guide us today. So this provider is not a Rancher project, and you can see that. It is used by a number of people in the Rancher community and a number of people who work for Rancher Labs as well, like myself. Now, this is my first foray into it. I'm trying to replace all the different bash scripts I'm doing with as much Terraform as possible, just so I don't have too much, different types of code lying out there to spin ourselves up. And we'll get as much as we can integrated here. So we'll need the Terraform provider. Now, it does work for O12, which is good because we're on O12. And we'll need to grab the binary. We'll need to install Terraform. We'll need to add the binary into our Terraform plugins. And then we'll we'll start with the minimum example and work our way up from there. Maybe we'll just try to do I'll grab the multiples example, and we'll jump right in. We'll go dive in the deep end. So I need to see if I have the latest. So let's go ahead and see what releases we have. And we're at 0.14.1, which was released when? 14 days ago. So I probably don't have the latest version, so I should grab this. Now, grab the one for your architecture, of course. I'm on, let's see. Nope, not Darwin. I'm on a Linux box. So I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to save it to my downloads folder. And let's see what I have in there. We'll do this visually. Oops. Okay, terminal, stop crashing. The joys of live coding. In this case, live scripting. So I'm already in here. Do I not have Terraform in here? Or was it plugins Terraform? Let's just look at that directory. Back from our README file. We want that in our, .terraform. That's why we couldn't find it. And good, yeah, we have the Terraform provider RKE 13. All right, so we're going to remove that one so we don't have version mismatch. If you want to support multiple versions, remember, most providers have, support a version tag. But in our case, okay, we did grab the latest already. So I'm going to move MV, downloads, Terraform provider to here, and let's unzip that. All right, and we'll remove our zip file. So we now have we have step one, our Terraform provider is in place. Step two, do stuff with it. So we're going to define a cluster. Those of you not familiar with RKE, which is just Rancher Kubernetes Engine, can find out more about it here. So let's go to rancher.com/docs. Also, docs.rancher.com works. It's my muscle memory uses most of the time. Oops, wrong one. Force of habit. Rancher Kubernetes Engine. And read the docs. So RKE is not just a CLI. It's actually baked into the Rancher project as well, but it can be used as a CLI for spinning up a Kubernetes cluster. So to do Rancher HA, we'll spin up a Kubernetes cluster with RKE, and then in a later episode we'll install Rancher and spin up other Kubernetes clusters with Rancher that also happen to be using RKE. And let's just hit up the installation. No, we don't need custom certificates. We're just worried about config options. Oh, example. So yeah, if you've never seen an RKE file, it looks like this. We have full cluster here, and it supports things like having a jump box or bash node, SSH, all different private registry, and even custom system images. Specifically, like if you're doing air gap, for example, you'd want that. And then of course you can customize all of your various Kubernetes binary arguments through each of their different extra args features. So if you for example, want to do the open policy agent emission controller, that would be something you would change here. But we're going to do a pretty minimal install. But we're going to need a few things because you see here, if we're going to define our nodes, we're going to at the very least need an address, a user, a role, an SSH key. So let me find all of these things. So I need address, user, role. I'm not going to adjust. Oh, I want an internal address too. That way we can tell, because eventually we'll have all of our things that we can have on a private network, be on a private network. And then I believe we have host name in here, don't we? Host name override. I always set host name override anyway. And let's see, SSH key. That's for our private key, public key path. That all looks pretty good. And I'll probably also refer to some of my older Terraform and older scripts because I'm moving out of this bash script method into the pure Terraform method. So let's take a look. I took a look at some of the examples here last night, and the one that interested me the most was this multiple nodes example. So I think we're going to adapt this to our needs. So Terraform 12 has object types. So this is defining an object type of nodes with an address and a user, and then doing a for each through the node. So we're going to set this variable nodes as part from the output over the piece of our cluster into a Terraform definition. So I'm going to grab. So let's leave that open. We've already gotten what we need here. So let's go back to our base README because I saw the provider in there. Oh, and I need my provider definition. I don't see my provider definition in the example. Let's take a look. Let's just grab a full because the full should have the provider that we need. RKE cluster. See, oh, isn't that interesting? Did a one-to-one conversion with one of our examples. Really cool. I like that. But I'm not seeing the provider in here, the provider definition, so I'm just going to assume this is how we're going to call it. And let's start updating. Actually, first things first, let's actually get to our known good state. So we'll let that run as it's going. Mine is still called Automated All The Things. Yours might be called Cattle Drive. Good, I am here. And let me see, I have to make sure that I actually cleaned up everything from my tests yesterday because I was doing all that other workload stuff. So I'm going to log in to AZ. Log into my Rancher account. Everything's good. Good, I'm in. AZ, AD, SP, delete. Not delete, delete. and make sure that my service principal is gone, because this script will create one if I don't already have it. Now, I think I did. Good. And then I also had a cleanup script. So we're going to source this, that makes sure I have all my environment variables that I can check in case I go awry. Actually, this assumes we're here. That's right. All right. Oh, and it also does a login because it creates the service account now for us. Do the device login. There we go. So, of course, you need permission to create service principals in your account to do this. If it's on a company account and you don't have that access, you'll just need to get that. If you forget to log in and then you run this, there'll be it'll complain about insufficient privileges. So right now it's creating our service principal. We'll create, well, it'll create as many nodes as I ask for. Or not. Oh, did I break something? I don't remember breaking something. Applications not installed by administrator tenant. No, that should just work. No, that's not good. You can run through things, and you can run through things, and you can run through things, and still have issues. Unauthorized client. AZ account show. I'm still me. Interesting. Was not found. Did I? No, I ran through this like a ton of times yesterday, so I'm gonna echo TF. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna move this all screen because I'm gonna check all my export variables. See if anything looks off. So my region looks right. Resource group name looks just fine. Client ID, secret ID are all there. Tenant ID looks just fine. Sigh. Okay. Well, let's just deploy harder then, shall we? I'm going to clean all this up. Oops. We're going to run a cleanup script. Now, it'll try to run a destroy. Did I leave stuff around? No, it didn't leave stuff around. I thought I left stuff around. Turns out I did not. Removing my service principal. Huh. And that worked. Interesting. So let's actually just remove all these state files. Maybe they're causing issues. And then everything else should be fine here. Make sure no hidden stuff going around gonna bite me at the bottom. Oh, Terraform, let's remove that too. All right, we've cleared out any previous state. I don't know why that didn't work. I ran through this like 6 times yesterday. Not specifically this RKE thing. I'm learning this with you all. I just read through the site last night to be at least a little bit familiar. But I did run through this automate script like a dozen times. So let's try this again, shall we? All right. Authenticate. Code. And me. Okay. That's all looking good. Grab the Azure RM plugin. Downloading the Azure RM stuff. Creating my service principal. That looks good. Creating our role assignments. Okay. Now I did no, I put a sleep in there. I put a sleep in there in case it took a little bit for the AD to propagate. I think I put a 10-second sleep in, which was good before. Hey, and look, now it's just working. I'm guessing it's something to do with the state. I'm not 100% sure. So while this is running, let's see if there's anything going on the RanchCast channel this morning. Wow, awfully quiet in there. Good morning, Rancheroos, if you're out there. Or if you're online, ask questions later. I know at least somebody was half paying attention. All right. So we're creating nodes. We'll be back to where. So what we should have, I think one of each. I think is how I have it set up. So I had it set up as larger footprint, but let's go smaller, get everything working in smaller, and then increase the footprint size. So we're creating one of each, and we're going to need some outputs from here. So as I mentioned before, we're going to address user. I'm actually going to reference one of my old projects here. So I'm actually opening on the VS Code. I have my Terraform modules because I just want to see what I was grabbing from the output. So anybody who's looked at my older Terraform modules, these require Terraform 11. They don't work in 12. I'm actually going to write a blog post on transforming an 11 to a 12, just based on one of these. And if I go into my setup CLI, because they all work, no, not that one. Yeah, that's the one I want, right? Nope, not that one. Oh, yeah, initialize cluster. Nope, not that one. There we go. That's the one I wanted. So just did a lot of the same things we're going to do in Terraform today with the RKE Provider, except as a bash script. So I did a lot of sed and a lot of manipulating things. But what I wanted to see was what I built in as far as my output files go. So I did a cluster YAML file. Let me grab the Cloudflare one. Oh, good. I have my last version of that. Okay. Key path. Good. Oh, we also installed Docker. I haven't installed Docker yet. We're going to do that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to grab that right from here because I know that's in here. So after, good. So we're going to grab this remote provisioner. I'll have to modify it a little bit for this node, but we can, for this code, but we can use this as a base. So provisioners in Terraform allow you to, at least this one specifically allows you to execute code against the machine remotely. So I'm quite literally grabbing the install Docker script from our install Docker repo. That's a link we'll have to do as well. Install Docker. And then adds the administrator to the Docker group, and then actually does and then that way we have Docker so that we can do RKE and we can do Kubernetes because we need Docker. So let's go back to our other project. All right. Main node. Actually, we want this in the node modules because it'll be a remote provisioner on the node. So sets Binic, sets up the VM itself. You can see I've dropped a lot of variables in here. So the other thing of this is do local. Local is quite literally a local variable. So I have a local variable, and you'll see the red squigglies. That's because the plugin for VS Code is actually based on Terraform 11, not Terraform 12. So let's see when that we'll need an upgrade to get to Terraform 12 as well. And then nothing else has really changed here because I took out areas where I did need string interpolation. So this is what string interpolation looks like, where I'm I'm templating out my variables versus actually talking to the object. This was not possible in Terraform 11 in a lot of ways. And so now I just want to add the remote provisioner to the bottom of this. It was the bottom of the VM, right? Yep. And that looks good. Oh, I'll need to add a variable for Docker version. And then username. So the node definition admin. So we have some slight differences in here. We'll grab that. Now the really cool thing is this Control-Shift-L, and paste. And anywhere I had that old username, I now have that new username, which is exactly what I wanted. And then the private key file is the same as this. And I'm just going to grab this here. And that defaults to your IDPSA. Actually, key data is the key path. I want the SSH private. So I'm going to do SSH. We'll say SSH key. What did I have it called before? Administrator SSH private key path. There. So we'll add two new variables, one for the Docker, one for Docker and one for our new key path. So let's go into our variables for the node. Now the nice thing about doing these submodules is it makes everything smaller. I don't have to scroll and scroll and scroll through my variables. I have to scroll and scroll and scroll through my main. All of it just gets a little bit smaller. Now it's just a matter of making sure I have my tabs right. So I want Docker version. And description, version of Docker to install one of the nodes. Now, you can install Docker however you'd like. This is just my favorite way of doing so. You could do a yum or an apt or RPM, however you feel you need to do that. And I think I want to spell this out explicitly for each of my nodes. Let's see, what is my newest? Actually, let's go to the install Docker to see what the latest one is on the repo. Gets github.com/rancher/install Docker. And I want to grab 1903. I haven't tried it with 19 yet. And I don't think even 19's on our supported versions yet. Oh, and it also will alias. So let's just grab 1809 for now. Oops. So Control-Shift-C is for my terminal. Control-C is for my browser. And then back here, you know what? I will default that. No, I won't. Always go back and forth in that. So Docker version, I always put the SH on anyway. And so we'll just update it here. Docker version equals now 1809. And then we'll copy and paste that in our other servers. Or no, I didn't put that in a definition. That became its own thing, right? Right. No, coffee still hasn't quite kicked in yet. That's okay. Docker version and Docker version. So now we have our Docker version set. We also need the key path of our private key. Now, what did I call that? I think I put that, yes, I did put that in the new definition. So I want to key path private into my variables. And that will actually go here. So I'm going to actually put this with this. And I'm going to default that as well, just for my own sanity. And like I said, you should put, we will make these least privilege, set up jump boxes, things, but one step at a time. We're going to iterate through this. So for now, we'll set it up this way and go from there. And again, I want that in. I like to spell things out explicitly, so when I'm looking at the code, I'm not surprised by a default. In this case, I just like the default because it makes me feel warm and fuzzy. Plus, when I'm doing stuff where I'm not on camera, and I just throw it together really quick, it has all of my defaults in there. It makes my life just a little bit easier. So good. That all looks good. So we have Docker version now. We have our admin. We're installing Docker. We also need our output variables now. So we are going to need a few things. And I'm going to look back. I'm going to refer back to my old code here to see which things I grabbed for my cluster. Address, internal address, hostname override, user, and then the key paths. Now we already have the key paths. We already know roles. So we need addresses and host names out of this thing. So let's grab some output variables, shall we? And we'll learn a little bit about output variables today. So an output variable starts with output and a name and the value. So the name of this case is going to be, we're going to do this as an RKE node. And then it needs a value. So we're going to use an object type here, just like the example from the multiples here. So let's grab multiple nodes. So we need nodes, and the type is this type. can I define type on here? Depends on sensitive. No, we can't. So it's just a value. And so the value is going to be an array with a bunch of maps with the data that we need. And the value, so we're going to actually point that to a specific, we're going to need a couple things here. We're going to need, do we want to do it as a local or as a variable? We could set a local, or we could just set the variable. Now, I've not experimented much with object types in Terraform, so let's actually define a local here. Call it nodes output. I wonder if that's valid. We'll find out. Actually, it's pretty easy. So since I did the source when I did the automate, that means all of my variables are in here. And when if I want to see if anything's correct when I make a change, I just do Terraform plan or Terraform init. Will tell me if, let's save that first. Oh, I need to tell it what value it is. So it's going to be, yeah, I'm not 100% sure how to do that with an output variable. I might have to have multiple output variables. You know what? I've done output variables before in my last code. This is why I refer back to my last code. So that's the output JSON. I want the main Terraform module to look at how I did outputs before, because I just don't remember. It's been long enough. Variables, variable. Where's my output variables? No output variables here? I thought I had some here. Oh, I put them, it's called output TF. That's right. I usually do an output for my output variables. And then, I did. I could do it by variable, or I could do it by object or string interpolation. Okay, good to know. The question is can I define a local? Well, first things first, let's actually move our output variable into its own file. That makes that a little bit easier. And let's figure out how we want to do this. So local node output, it will be equal to, yeah, it'll be equal. So let's just grab the node, grab the Azure VM, and walk to see what our output properties are. Because we may be able to get everything we need from the VM itself. This is where our documentation comes into play. So it's going to be Azure VM dot VM. And that will actually, because we're creating multiple of those, that will return an array. So let's make sure that's all we need. And then the output, I'm not even sure if this will be legal. Let's try it. It's local dot. May not be, but let's experiment, shall we? Local dot nodes output. Otherwise, I'll just define it as a variable. That's fine too. So let's save that. The not having the extension being wrong, I don't know when I'm wrong all the time because I know this is proper. And so is this. Now, since I did the source, I have all my local variables in here. Okay, and it worked fine. So when we change modules, make sure you run the Terraform init again. And we'll plan. Jump. Docker version is required, but no definition was found. Oh, the jump box needs a Docker. The jump box does not need a Docker version. Okay. So I will have to split out node module into Docker node and regular node, and I will do that later. For now, we're just going to remove the jump node from our definition because it doesn't do anything yet. It's just a node. It has no actual. That's a control / if you ever want to do that quickly. Oh, and we have all kinds of stuff going on here. Ooh, This is fun. Host is required, but no definition found. This must be new. Okay. So the connection to the VM requires a host. That's new. Okay. We can work with that. So I'm guessing this now needs something else that it didn't have before. I don't know what that is. So we're going to look at this. Is we're going to our documentation. We'll grab, no, not that screen. There we go. So let's look at our Terraform information, terraform.io. And let's look at our providers. And we're going to look at actually, when we look at provisioners, we want the remote exec provisioner. So this is new, and it wants a host. Okay. I'm not getting anything. Do you all see a host? I don't see a host here. Local provisioner, type connections. Let's look at connections. Provisioner connections. So we want an SSH connection. I've got type. I've got username, password, and I've got type, username, password. Is there a host name? Address of the resource to connect to. This is usually specified by the provider. Okay. So the address of this will be host, and it will be the public IP of this thing. So we want let's see what comes out. I need to know what comes out of the VM. Does the public IP comes out of the VM or not? I don't know that off the top of my head. So let's go back into our docs and go into our provisioners, our providers, into the Azure provider, and let's look at the VM resource. I just want to see what the attributes are of the VM resource to see what we can talk to. So what we're looking for is does it come with a public IP, or do I have to talk to something else? Plan, SSH keys, storage reference, disks, disk, fault certificates. No. Okay. That's okay. Because we know it's in there. I just need to know if we could get the public IP from it. And I grabbed that in a previous thing. I grabbed public IPs. So I want the public IP. All right. So I create a public IP in here somewhere. No, I create the NIC and a private IP. Do I want to create a public IP? I might not. That's a good question. So when I create the NIC, let's create the NIC. Private IP allocation, IP configuration. Let's look at the NIC. Let's look at the NIC resource, shall we? Does the NIC, here, I can look here too. I've got it in here. Virtual machine, network interface ID. Yep, that's normal. These are all on 11, but I've done a lot of 11 work, so 11, I can just browse through and look through virtual machine. It looks like I need a separate IP for this, which is fine. We can do that. So the NIC has an public IP address. So I need to actually create a public IP address for it. All right. We'll just grab one of these because I know it's in here. So let's create a public IP resource. Public IP. And then we're going to call it prefix. It's local.prefix. Public IP count index. Interesting. I like to count. I used the count on the end. Let's stay consistent here. IP. And then we need our resource group, which is coming out of variable now. And notice we don't just pass strings; we can also pass other things. So, and since we no longer need string interpolation, let's not waste our time with string interpolation, and actually talk to the objects directly when we can. And the count here is, I think I call that node count. Yep, node count. Good. So now we're creating a public IP. We have our NIC. It needs a public IP. address ID, and this equals, so we need to grab the Azure public IP. We're going to grab the specific version called public IP. We're going to grab the index of that, and then we're going to grab its ID. I believe that's all correct. We'll find out. And then I don't know if that can be dynamic or if it has to be lowercase. We'll find out though, because some of the things are case sensitive here. So we have a public IP, we have a public IP address. Then I need that public IP to come out here as well. And we can also do that by count index. So I think it's just public IP. Again, let's look at our 11 code because we did use that as an output variable. Output variable IP address. Okay. Oops, don't want to change that. That just works. So I need the host that we're going to attach to be that IP address. So Azure public IP, the count, and then public IP. Oops, I didn't mean to hit Alt there. IP, public IP underscore address. Yep. All right. So now we have the host connection. It can't just assume that from no, I guess it can't. That makes some sense. There are some things about the way the object model works now that's changed a little bit. It doesn't guess as much, and I think that's actually better. It's just one of those things I have to get used to. And let's see, undeclared reference. Declared in the workers, public IP. All right, what's wrong first? Node module main 25. Azure RM, public IP, dot, oh. Helps when I spell things right. Ooh, look at that. Hey, all right, good. We can see here we're gonna get some changes. Now this thing may blow up because I think changing NICs around after they're instantiated is not allowed by Azure. But let's get all of our code working first, and if we have to flush and recreate, we can do that. That's the whole point of having everything in something that we can just automate. So we now have public IP addresses. We connect those IP addresses. We can install Docker. Oh, I need outputs. So the question is, oh, it didn't complain about this, nor did it complain about this. Interesting. All right, well, there's only one way to figure out if this is going to work, and that's, is to apply it. So let's go ahead and Terraform apply and see what happens. Terraform apply. I need some background music so I don't have to hum to you all the time. Known after apply. Known after apply. Look at we already got private NICs. This is exciting. I love seeing them come together. Ignore my key data. Oh, no, that's just my public or private key. That's my public key, right? That's my public key. I'm trying to think. Now do I have to flush all my keys? Yes, I would like to perform these actions. I have no idea this will actually work. It's the difference between, properly formatted code and things that are actually supported by the provider model. And sometimes I violate the provider model. That does happen. But it's not yelling at us, so that's a good thing. Don't you love when a plan comes together? How are we doing out there on Slack World? It is quiet today. It is really quiet today. If I couldn't see my own stream, I wouldn't know if I was actually broadcasting. But if you're out there, wave, say hi, do something so I know you're not completely asleep. Hopefully, if you're not watching now, you'll all watch it on YouTube. So still modifying interface is good. So while that is still modifying, and we have our nodes as an output, The question, so the node output wasn't going to be enough because we also need public IP addresses. So let's go ahead and grab that, and let's actually get the IP output. Azure public IP dash. Yeah, we'll just grab the whole public IP. That's fine. And use that object as well. And then we'll put that in our output variables. We'll call this nodes. And we'll call this output IPs, public IPs. So we'll have to make sure we do some network security group stuff in here to prevent those things from always being accessible to the public. Yeah, we could do that in a future episode. I've got firewalling on the list. And I do know Azure supports like just-in-time connections. We'll have to figure out how those work from a Terraform perspective. I've never used them before, but I know it supports them because I read the docs. Go read your docs. So we got local nodes output, and then we got local dot. Nope, not here. Local node module IP address output. All right. And then this might still be running. Yep, still running. Oh, it's destroy. Oh, it has to destroy my jump box. I took it out of there. All right. Good to know that. Good to know it's that malleable. Let's see if we can actually see it working out in Azure. Let's go out in here. Portal.azure.com. And my automate all the things resource group. And yeah, it's not quite dead yet, but it's dying. Good. Good to know. So one thing at a time. So while this is running, let's go ahead and get our example up here for our multiples. So we have these nodes, and we want to have address user host override, and we need a for each loop. So let's go ahead and create this. And I'm going to have 3 different types of nodes, obviously. So we'll have 3 different for each loops. All right, that'll work. Oh, cool, and it's just finished. Good timing. All right, so back to our main module. And our main file in our module, our jump box is gone. And then, all right, node module, network module. So we have Terraform now. So let's RKE. Oh, we are going to have to flush these because they don't have Docker installed on them, and I want my automation to do Docker as well. So I'm going to do that in the background while we're waiting. Because we can't. Can you rerun a provisioner? That's a good question. Google might know this. Terraform, rerun, provisioner. Look at that. Somebody else has had the problem. On existing resource, closed. Provide a way for trigger. Oh, these are all 2015. Oh. Here we go. Provisioners, creation time, destroy time. Can we rerun? Multiple, failure behavior. Yeah, we don't have to continue. Let's see. Is there a rerun in here? Destroy. Destroy time, create time, 1 failure. Oh, that's interesting to know. By default, can I rerun? That's Terraform, apply, help. Let's see if there's a rerun in here. Target, refresh. Nope. I don't see anything in here to do that. We're just gonna destroy. And as soon as it's done destroying, and then we'll have it apply again with the current rules. Actually, we won't do that. I'm just going to watch it. Oops. I've already started playing with it. Oh. A reference to resource must be allowed by at least one attribute to access the resource name. Thank you, Terraform. I got to tell you, I say it it helps when you save your file changes. It really does. So let's save our file changes here. And because we get context sensitive here and destroy and auto approve. And then that is scorched earth. So I'm going to move scorched earth off of the screen, and I'll just watch that move while it's doing its thing while we change our needs. So going back to our main resource, we want to grab that cluster. So we're going to call this Rancher cluster. And dynamic nodes, good for each and for our node. So we have 3 outputs. So I need one for etcd, one for control plane, and one for worker. So I'm going to need one for module. What was that output variable called? Module dot nodes. And module dot nodes, or module dot name. So module dot, what I call it? I called it etcd control plane and worker, didn't I? Yep, I called it etcd. And then the content is the for each. Oh, nodes dot value dot, what did I call? Oh, I just didn't know what all these things are. So the address is, interesting. So I'm going to have to call this by an index. I wonder if there's let's look. So I've not used a for each yet. I need to know if I have an index count, because I'm going to need the index in here as well. Let's go back to our Terraform documentation. We don't need our provider. Let's just duplicate. We'll keep that around. And I need my configuration language. And I need my, is it expression? Is it syntax? I don't know what it's actually, is it? It's not a function. It might be an expression. There we go, for each. Dynamic blocks, that's what I want. Dynamic blocks, ingress. For each. So it's the name of the temporary variable that represents the current element of the complex value. If omitted, the name of the variable defaults to the label. Okay, good to know. And then for each object on the iterator key, oh, perfect, is the map key or list element index. So key and key is identical to value and is the map or list element index. Good. Good. So we want the key. So, and the value is current value. Oh, they think of everything. I get to, props to HashiCorp here. So, value. So I need the address. So I need the key. Or no, this is going to be interesting. So I need the module. This isn't far. So I need the module. I need the etcd module. I need the IP addresses, which I called public IPs. And I want a specific public IP. So I need the index nodes, key, that should do it. And then I want the public IP of that. Go back to my old version here, it's IP address. All right, we're doing some black magic here. That's okay. All right. And then I want the internal address. I'm going to need that too. So we know that output variable. Public IPs, private IPs. Local dot private IP. And just for readability, let's change this to public too. So then in my node module, we are public. Again, change this to public. And then I need my private. And fortunately, I've also talked to private IPs in my previous Terraform, so I can just grab, oh, I grabbed the NIC. See, this is why. I'm just going to grab this and change the name accordingly. So network interface, it's just called NIC in this case. And then my private IP addresses. All right. That should work. So we now have our module .etcd .private. What did I call it again? I'll put private IPs. This is why I do a lot of copy paste when I'm writing code for the first time because I miscapitalize and I misspell. It's bad. It's really bad. And then I need to know what that output is. It's this one. That's what I want. And then I need to make sure I grab the right one. Doing some black magic here. All right. And then my user, I already have my username for it, is my admin username in the node definition. Can I grab that? Let's try it. So, module, so it's nodes, node definition, admin username, and then these roles are just going to be etcd. Actually, if I really want to get fancy, I could prefix these too. Yeah, I could prefix them, but you know what? This is fine. And then my SSH key is going to be this one here. So, node definition. And that private key path. Nodes.nodedefinition.ssh key path private. Here we go. You know what? I like being able to reuse code. And nodes dot prefix. Yeah. All right, so we've defined our cluster now. We have our Terraform provider. We have our etcd node. Let's give this a go. I fully expect this to blow up in my face. Oh, we're not done destroying. Destroy takes a lot longer than create. Let's see how we're doing. All right. Nope, not that one. I want the air provider. And refresh. Whoa, we're not quite dead yet. We're almost dead. Come on and die already. Because I gotta wait for that to finish. You know what? Next time I'm gonna actually throw that into the background. 7 minutes. It's like forever. Let's check out there in the RanchCast channel. Anybody out there? Hey, I got another thumbs up. All right. Race FPV in Siam. Welcome. So there'll be a blog post about this in the next week or so. I've launched, I have already launched, but we'll be expanding what I'm calling the Trusted Ranch Hands program. Everything's kitschy. We like our cowboys around here and our Western motif. Race is one of our ranch hands. Sam actually applied, so I got to check out his application. Hey, welcome AGS 131 to the party. It's so lonely out here, waiting for Azure to destroy stuff. I like the creates really fast, though. I just wish the destroy was just as fast. Control's just taking its good old time, isn't it? Now, I wonder if I kill it, if it will continue removing. That I don't know. Because it doesn't, you know what? We're going to kill it. Because I want to actually test my plan, and we're going to just delete the resource group and let it do its thing. It is not Control-Shift-C, it is Control-C. Too many keyboard shortcuts for too many different things. I need to move my head because, oh, no, not no definition. I have my camera set up so you can see me, but it slightly blocks my monitor. There we go. And remove. And we'll just let that remove in the background while we're doing some other stuff. And I'm going to remember to remove my terraform.tfstate and remove my, oh, that might actually mess me up. No, it won't mess me up. It's just because I got to re-init. That's okay. Because now let's terraform it. Grabbing all my plugins. Good. And now let's terraform plan. This may blow up because the resource group may still be around. Oh, missing resource instant key. Good. Has account set. It's actually supposed to be addressed by specific instances. Oh, good. Thank you for catching my mistake. Node module line 5. Node module line 5. 1, 2, 3. Oh, well, that's interesting. Can I do it like this? Let's give that a go. This worked in older versions, so let's give that a go. All right. A reference to a resource must be followed at least one attribute access specifying the name. Oh. And then let's grab. Hey, all right. So we're at least legal as far. Oh, sad face. All right. Object does have a called prefix, and then objects have no definition. So these are output variables. That's okay. It just might mean we have to actually either we'll grab it either from a variable or we'll grab it from a. Yep, that's what we'll do. So we need to grab. Going back to my main module, let's talk about what we need to do. So I need to be able to access these things after the fact. And so I want the admin username. I don't have those in variables yet. They're actually hard-coded in here. And I don't have them as variables in my file yet, do I? If I go to my main module into variables, Azure Resource Group, no, we haven't put those into variables to be assigned yet, just our various Azure stuff. So for now, if you have something you have as an input variable and you want to use it as an output variable, we can do that. So I want the node definition as an output variable as well. Go to my node module, go to my outputs. And then I want the value to be equal to, it is the incoming module. No, it is the, I don't know if this will work or not. Let me look at this. Going to my node module, into main. So, oh, it's the var, incoming var. So I want the var node definition as part of my output. Good. And I don't think I need the Docker version anywhere in my main module. I think I'm just accessing the node definition from RKE. Let me see. Nodes. Yep, let's give that a try then. Node definition. Nodes.node definition. It does, actually. Nodes.node definition. Oh, I might have to re-init it. Nodes dot module. What's the plug? Oh. Nodes.node definition. No, it's there. Nodes.node definition. var.node. Oh yeah, let's re-init. And then plan. All right. I don't have prefix, and it says I don't have no definition. Oh. Where are my values? etcd for each and etcd nodes. Nodes dot value. Right? Yes. Yeah, because I have key and value. All right. Value is an object with 24 attributes. It does not have an attribute called node definition. For each in nodes, dynamic nodes, for each in here. etcd. Oh. Let's try that. In module etcd. Yeah. Yeah. So nodes. So I got to call it by its module name. Module dot etcd dot node definition. Then admin username. Right? I think that's the proper way to call it. Module.etcd dot oh, I wasn't even calling that by name properly. All right, I may not have needed those. We'll find out in a second. So the nodes does not, okay. Module etcd public IPs, module etcd private IPs, module etcd node definition. Let's actually all right. Good. And then, so I want to see if I can grab that out of there without having to define it twice. So module etcd prefix, module etcd no definition, module no definition private key. All right. etcd private IPs, public IPs, looping through nodes. All right. I think that's how I want it. All right. Output. Okay, good. Good. We got our answer. Like I said, error messages are awesome in 12, like by a long shot. So that's really just all right. And then I'll need prefix as well if I want to. Yeah, I do want that as the output. So I just want to be able to copy and paste this stuff from version to version. And then prefix is var prefix output. Var, no. var.prefix. All right. Good. So let me just do a sanity check on here. We have our etcd. Good. So let's actually just go ahead and dynamic all three of these. etcd, control plane. Oh, I can't do it for all of them. I'm going to do a find replace. And did I call it with a capital P? Okay, capital P. All right. Ooh, what did I do there? Oh, interesting. All right. I don't know my shortcut here. I think it's edit, control H. Okay. So I'm going to find etcd. And I want to replace with control plane 11 to 61. No, I just want it in the current selection. All right, we'll find next. Oh. Oh. Alt L. Ooh, all right. I can Control H and then I can Alt L. I'm liking this. All right. And then replace all is Control Alt Enter. All right, let's see if we can do this with just shortcut keys this time. All right. So Alt H. No, it's Alt H was Control. Oh, Control Shift F3. No. Edit. Replace. Control H. It was Control H. All right. Control H. etcd. And now these are worker. And then. Oh, look at that. I can just Alt L that. Cool. Oh, I messed it up when I messed it up when I didn't do it. So L, and then it's Control Alt Enter. Hey, all right. Learning our shortcut keys as we go. All right, and I think I did call that worker. TT node, control plane, workers. Workers. I did it. I mean, you know what? I'm just going to change the name of the module to my module. Since that was the only one I didn't do plural. Good. I think this will work. Ready to give it a go? Let's give it a go. All right. Do another Terraform init, just because I'm paranoid. And let's do a Terraform plan. Again, because I'm terrified and paranoid. 13 to change. And then Terraform apply. And we will approve. This will be interesting. So, what should be happening now is the creation of the resource group, all the nodes, all the NICs, Docker installed, and then Kubernetes installed via RKE. And then we could finish up for today. That'd be really cool, wouldn't it? Anybody out there in the RanchCast channel listening along? Nobody right now. Well, maybe. Hey, if you're out there, say hi. Love to hear from you. I'm working on having the whole chat window over, over on my left, so that, over here somewhere, so y'all can say hi while we're actually doing this stuff. This will take a couple of minutes. If I could fast forward live, I'd fast forward live. Going to start actually editing these down and not just having the raw feeds, just to cut out some of the, hey, here's Jason struggling with stuff. We don't need to watch all that. Let's cut this short so you can actually learn in a little bit less time. Hey, there's remote provisioner working. Is it working? Host via SSH. We'll know in a second. Because we'll start seeing Docker install stuff going on there. Or it may just time out. Hey, why are my hosts empty? My host should not be empty. That's going to fail. It's going to fail. Yeah. That's unfortunate. Interesting. What a pain. What an absolute pain. Why is that empty? That shouldn't be empty. Do we have public IPs? Let's find out. We go back into our portal, into our resource group. We refresh our resource group. Let's take a look at one of these NICs, shall we? It has a public IP. It does. That's good. Worker 0 NIC has worker 0 public IP and private IP. So it did create exactly as I expected it would. Interesting. It's just not catching the host. I'm having a vague recollection of weird public IP issues in Terraform. Ooh. Okay. Azure RM provider, Azure provider, Terraform, public IP output. That's exactly what I did. IP address by its name with a dynamic. Yeah, everything looks good there. Something isn't right. And I don't. There we go. I had a feeling. It's. Oh, closed. Okay. Maybe a Terra core. Tags. Dynamic. No warnings. Panic. See the output. Apply. Action behavior applies. There are no warnings or errors. Resources deployed. Only after I run a Terraform refresh, the output displayed. Public IP is allocated during resource creation. It would assume the attribute is known. Okay, got it. This is exactly it. Which resources you're referring to are the Azure Resource Manager provider. Oh, okay. This is also closed. Public IP, actual behavior, question. The old one is closed. Azure, they're assigned to a running resource. Ooh, it is recommended here is to make. Okay. Oh. No. Okay. The recommended approach here is to make use of the data source to obtain the public IP once it's been assigned to a VM. Okay. Once it's been assigned to AD. Okay. Retrieve, retrieve, retrieve. Huh. Or I bet this is just an order of operations thing. Okay. So the public IP address has to be. Let's look at that again. The recommended approach here is to make use of the data source to obtain the IP address once it's been assigned to a VM, or alternatively by using the static public IP address, I can return immediately, as is documented and will know. Yeah, Tom, you and I disagree here. I get I get that that's not your thing, but it'd be nice if if Terraform actually accounted for the behavior of the provider in code. So I think we're going to ultimately time out. Yep, we're going to time out and fail. So I'm going to actually do a Terraform. Is there no wait on here? State out, refresh, no color, auto approve. All right. I'm just going to destroy it in the background and see. Yeah, we'll just do it in another resource group. That's what we'll do. All right. So let's just delete this resource group. We'll change our resource group name. That's unfortunate. All right. Let's just see if order of operations affects it. If order of operations does not affect it, we will, or if order of operations affects it, great. We'll use public. If not, we'll go with static public IP. All right. We've learned something. But that means we have to wait till after they're allocated to a VM. Okay, that's good. That's good. So that just means in the node module, which is here, and in our main, we want, I want to put all these at the very end. So we'll do some more locals. All right. All right. Let's give this a go. So right now, we know this is being destroyed, right? Yeah, that's being destroyed. So we need to just change some of our outputs. So if I change the region and I change the resource group names around, then everything should be fine, right? So service principal, oh, but I actually changed the service principal to match. Do I put scopes on that? No, I don't scope that to the resource group. That's good. Because the resource group gets created by something else. All right. All right. That's unfortunate. All right, so my main resource group name. So I will change my resource group name, and I'll change my region around too, because we might run into issues with nicknames while this is destroying. So we need to. I just want to see which variables I have. Echo. No. So I need TFVAR, Azure, resource group name. So export cloud drive. Good. And then let's export region to East US. All right, everything else should be the same. I didn't change it. Yeah, source principal should work just as well. And let's remove our state files. Did I really just do that? That was unfortunate. I just removed everything. That's okay. This is, oh man. Okay, we'll save the main. We'll save the output. What did I get? What did I lose? I lost everything in main. I had no output variables here. Fortunately, I think that might be all I have in there. I think I might have lost the variables file. Yeah. Wow. That was just. Yeah. What else did I lose? I lost main and I lost variable. Get checkout. Is it checkout? All right. Just because my brain is getting tired. It's too late. I'm gonna Google this because. All right. Get restore deleted file. Get checkout. That's what I want. Dash dash. Get checkout. Dash dash. Dash TFRs. Good. And let's just take a look at that file. Main. I don't think there was anything in there. That was empty, which is fine. Main looks good. Variables looks good. Yeah, we didn't have anything there. Well, that was disaster averted. All right. All right. I think we're good here. Commit early, commit often. Good. All right. Disaster averted. So terraform init. Grab all our providers. This might actually be done destroying by the time we get here. Which actually that would be good. And then terraform plan. Again, you can apply auto approve if you want. I want to see everything as I go. Good. Terraform apply. And we'll see if our provisioner works right this time. That would really stink if it didn't. But we'll know within a minute. Good. Resource group, public IPs, assigned to VMs, and then we should have an address. Well, that's some obnoxious level behavior there, isn't it? And creating VMs. They take about a minute to create. So now we can go back into our portal. This one should be just about gone. It's getting there. And we'll check out Cattle Drive. You know, the search needs like a quicker refresh. Huh. Did I just call something else? Oh. No, that's not mine. What I call it? You know what? We'll look at the terminal output. Oh, look. That's really obnoxious. So that means that's forcing me to use static public IPs because the provider does not handle the dynamic public IP allocation. Really obnoxious. Because this is telling me it is recommended here to make use of the Azure public IP data source to obtain the IP address once been assigned to a VM. Okay. Group, network, subnet, public IP, NIC, VM. Let me look in my order. Pull my hair out over stuff, I'll tell you. All right, let's look at my order. Public IP, assigned to a NIC, right? Right. Public IP, dynamically allocated, assigned to a NIC, assigned to a NIC, assigned to a virtual machine, assigned to a virtual machine, data. Interesting. I understand now. Okay. All right. Destruction number 2. No, that's all good. There. Okay. I understand now. All right. What did I call this resource group? I didn't even check. Yeah, I know. Oh, that's weird. Terminal's not giving me full history. All right. Come back to my export. Resource group, cloud-drive. Yeah, I do call cloud-drive. All right. We're just called JV3 right now. NHUS. Actually, going to move it to central. I'm really just doing that because of nicknames while this deletes. So, one more time, shall we? No, it's called cattle drive. Resource groups. I do want it to delete, so I don't have to reuse it. Refresh. Really? Huh. I see cattle. It says nothing in it. Oh, Cloud, did I call it Cloud Drive? Yeah, I did. Yes, I did. All right. And delete. So we'll let that do its thing. And we'll take advantage of this obnoxious thing. And we'll go into the data source. All right. So the private IP, that might actually, yeah. So data, public IP, it was called public. Oh, interesting. Public IP. And then resource group. I don't think I care about the resource group name. I don't. I just need the public IP. So public IP, data, public IP, test. I guess I do need a name. All right. Public IP. We're just going to do the way they do it. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but okay. All right. All right. Resource group. What's the virtual machine name? No, it's just the var. It's the here. This is what I want. Okay. Data source needs a resource group and a name. Fine. We'll do it that way. We'll do it your way. And then we need the data. So we need data, dot public IP dot, right? Yep. Its name. Yep. Okay. This is gonna cause problems because I've got multiple things. All right, we'll just give it a go. All right. Missing instance key. So we'll just grab the first one. No. Oh. Yeah. I don't know if this is actually going to work. So let's, instead of doing it this way, let's make them static. I hate this. Yeah. I don't like the way this provider code works. And the date, yeah, I don't like that at all. It makes doing this stuff dynamically that much harder. I think the provider feels broken. All right, so this is Azure RM, public IP, there, and Nick star. Yeah, that's just that just feels all manner of broken. All right, we will deal with this as it may. I may make them all static then, because the private IPs aren't going to change really. It's dynamically allocated. Yeah, it's obnoxious. It's what it is. It's just obnoxious. And we'll open this up for the moment. Resource groups. Yeah, I'll have to look at that Azure. Oh, it's a public IP data source. Interesting. Yeah, that means we're gonna have. Yeah, I don't know if that would actually work. I'd have to have a data source per, and I don't know if I could dynamically create those. It'd be interesting to try that as a dynamic block sometime, and maybe I will experiment with that on my off time. Um, but it's just going to be easier to test out here. And now we can see everything's working because we got our IP back immediately. Boy, that's obnoxious. So we're gonna let the Docker do its install. Then we're gonna that'll test our RKE setup. So cool, awesome. So we're gonna let this still create. It only takes like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Maybe it's 2:30. I think the last time I checked one of these. So I would do a for each. I do a dynamic for each with the data. Yeah, I bet that'll work. I'm gonna make a note to try that out. Try that out this week. Dynamic block with the data source per IP. The question is, will a private IP come back? I think private IPs just come back, but we'll know in a minute. Control plane, darker daemon, unpacking. Good. It looks like Docker is installing. This is a good thing. 2 minutes, 2:10. This is actually moving pretty good. So nice to see. Oh. Expected roll to be one. That was my fault. I did that. Because my prefix, I assumed would be the name of the role, and it was not. That's okay. That's a quick fix. And since all the provisioners worked, the fix should just work once I get it in there. Worker should be one of, let's look at there again. Let's see, the other one will fail. Should be one of control. Yep. Okay. Good. I think we're just about good to go then. So I just need to fix this. I think this will actually work. So Terraform apply. This is where, hey, it checks out in code, doesn't check out in the runtime. It happens. And one to add, what is being added? Hey, we're out here. Cool. Very cool. All right. Fingers crossed. Creating an RKE cluster. I should put debug output here. I'm actually curious what's going on behind the scenes now because I can't see it. Still creating. Oh, this could actually take a while. I should have absolutely debugged the output here. Let's log into one of these boxes. I'm gonna watch like the control plane box work. So we do have public IPs now, and we private IPs. So let's go grab one of them, because at least we'll see some evidence of Docker stuff working, and go from there. So let's go grab, etcd is the first thing that needs to be created. So let's go grab that VM. And since I go grab connect, I just want see, we have to figure out how to do that. That's what I want to do. I want to get the jump box working and do that. Now, I intentionally made it my name. Grab another one of these. We know the terminal window. Another larger terminal window. All right. It's busy. It's doing something. Docker PS. Docker PS. Hey, look at that. Question is, did it execute successfully? I don't know. I'll know in a few minutes. So let's go ahead and grab a few more of these. We'll look at each one of them. We'll look at the logs, see if it's actually doing something fun. And then we'll grab one more. So that's a control. Let's etcd. Let's grab the control plane as well. The control plane. No, I don't want that. I want this. SSH JSON at check what's going on here. Not EF. That's funny. All right. State deployer. There is stuff going on. You can see the thing. We see that we have some things going on. And then I need one more. I need my. Is that it? Docker logs. There we go. No logs. Okay. We'll worry about this in a moment. Let's see. Do I have any errors on my other? Still creating. All right. We'll assume it's doing its thing until we know it's not doing its thing anymore. Let's look at this ps-ef. I got some SHD. Oh, it's all happening SSD sections. That makes sense. Docker D is doing its thing. Good. Hey, look at that. Kube API server, container shim. Container shim, etcd backup. Hey, look at that. We got some stuff coming up. That makes me so happy. Let's take a look at the worker and see what's going on there. All kinds of stuff going on. And then let's grab our worker VM, see what's going on over here. Connect to that. Just because I want to grab this. Grab another terminal window. Make it actually viewable. Oops. Container dshim, kube proxy. All right. Look at that. Things are starting to come together. I wish I would have hit the debug. I'd love to see what this thing is doing on the covers. I mean, I know what it's doing. It's saying an RKE back cluster. But it'd just be cool to see what it's doing right now. My Linux foo is not as good as it used to be. I was an admin way back in the day, like 2000. 2001, give or take. It's been a very long time. So I spent 15 years in Windows, so I forget all of my commands to go jump around my system and be able to see everything. But we know our cluster's free. Whoa, well that was click. I have a cluster now. Now I don't know how to get kubectl out. We'll figure that out. But it does appear that we have an RKE cluster now. Um, yeah, let's actually, I should have kube config on one of these, or if not all of them. Let's grab the control plane one. All right. Oh no, Etsy. Start Kubernetes in here. There is. Oh. Oh, that's weird. All right, we must have this locked down. It's probably good that it's locked down. Yeah, I'll figure out how to get the kube config out file later. We'll save that for the next episode. So, thank you all for joining me. Before we leave, as we do always, let's commit our code because I almost destroyed some stuff. So we got to automate all the things. Git add main, git add node module, Terraform module, node module main, git add the variables. I just one by one just because I'm a little bit paranoid. And I like to see it all one at a time. Node and output. Everything's ready to go. Git commit. What episode are we on? We're on 7? I think we're on 7. We're on 7? Yeah, I'm gonna. I don't know actually. Titles. Yeah, I'm looking over my screen, my restream to see what I called this. Oh yeah, episode 7. So, end episode 7. So, if you want to get this code, links will be up there in the comments as well. But thank you all for your time today, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye now.